the government is coming under intense pressure to drop its planned amendment to the Cybersecurity Act after several provisions in the draft bill were flagged as a serious threat to rights and freedoms, particularly free speech. The bill, which is currently undergoing stakeholder consultation, is sponsored by the Communications Ministry with an aim to safeguard the cyberspace and prevent abuses. But even before the bill is finalized and presented to Parliament, its contents are drawing sharp public criticisms. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent and member of our legal desk, Kweku Asante, joins me in studio with a copy of this bill and some of these provisions that have been flagged. Kweku, take us through the bill.
So a couple of them raising very key issues. First, there's the matter having to do with a person shall not use any online or computer service or any other electronic device to track the location of another person. This is provided for in Section 67A of the bill. And that would have meant that Samuel Okudzosa Blakwa, for instance, the current Minister for Foreign Affairs, when he used to track the flights of President Akufo-Addo, would have gone to jail because he did not seek the permission of President Akufo-Addo to track his movement. That is that. The bill also provides that a person shall not create a false identity online or a fake social media profile for the purpose of following an adult where the contact is unacceptable. It simply means that, Kweku Asante, if I create another account on Facebook or X and I say my name is Oponkroma or MFRDT, and that is not me, perhaps whatever it is, the purpose that I'm using, that is again an offense under the Act. Again, it talks about false or misleading information. We know that false and misleading information has become such a big matter on social media, and so the bill is seeking to deal with that. But the approach is what people are faulting. For instance, it says that if you look at the section, it says CSA investigators are allowed to go ahead and do some of these investigations. And also, if you publish false information about anything, about a person or anything online, that alone is a basis for you to spend between 3 and 5 years in jail. There are those who have said that if a false information is published about somebody that is defamatory, that person can take it up. But to allow the government that level of information, that level of access to criminalize what they deem misinformation is a problematic one. So there's a lot of this MFR in the bill, a lot of sections, all of that currently going through some of these stakeholder consultations.
Well, thank you so much, Kweku. Former Information Minister Kojo Oponkroma has been urging the government to drop the plan. Why?
Are seeing appears to be a draft and that they want to consult on that draft. From what I have seen as a former information minister, this draft is dangerous, though it's not surprising. And let me explain why it's not surprising. It's not surprising because I think the president first announced it, that they are going to use the national security apparatus to go after people who make comments on social media that they consider for whatever reason, whether it's under hate speech or it's under whatever, they consider it unfavorable. They're going to search for your IP addresses and then get the security apparatus to go after you. The president himself said it. So it's not surprising that his minister is now following up with a draft bill with such wild provisions in there. What is dangerous about it is that over the last set of decades, various countries have been moving away from criminalizing speech. There are other remedies for speech that may be deemed unfavorable, most of them civil, but not necessarily criminalizing it. And that's why you would recall that even the Criminal Libel and Sedition Act was repealed by the Kufuor administration. There are still remnants of laws that still seek to criminalize speech. For example, this law that is being used a lot, publication of false news, with intent of causing fear and panic, is one of those laws that actually still needs to be repealed.
Now, let's go on phone now and speak to Imani Africa's Vice President for Innovation and Strategy, Salom Brantier, for his perspective on this. Salom, thank you for joining us this afternoon. So this bill is still undergoing what the ministry calls stakeholder consultation. Do you share the view of the minority that it must be shelved? Do I have Salom, or I have lost Salom? Salom is Vice President for Imani. We'll try again, see if we'll get Salom. Salom, if I have you, do you agree on what the minority is saying, whether we should shelve this bill? Okay, we'll try and see if we can connect to Salem. But away from that, the minority in Parliament is renewing its calls for the government to present all flagship policies to the House for scrutiny and approval. Last week, Minority Leader Alexander Apenyo-Markin restated the demand, a position rejected by Mahama Yarega, who maintains that the programs were already approved under the 2025 budget. But Ranking Member of Parliament Economy and Development Committee, Kojo Ponkroma, insists that stance is untenable, arguing that initiatives like the 24-hour economy must still be brought before Parliament.
The big economic policy that is submitted just mentions these programs, that will do a 1 million coders program aimed at training 1 million people for digital skills. People will say here, a figure is put by it. The minister will show up at committee level to defend his whole budget is approved. It doesn't mean that the program document has been brought to Parliament or has even been published. So as at now, you have 11 programs and initiatives that this government has launched on various platforms, and ministers have been giving hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis ostensibly to go and execute them. I can take you through the list. 1 million coders program, the 24-hour economy program, the jobs export program, the Jumera program, the national apprenticeship program, the Tree for Life program. Many people don't even know about it. The Accra Reset program, the president launched it at the UN, the One Child, One Tree initiative. Then quite recently, they've launched the Ghana Infrastructure Plan, the free tertiary for persons with disabilities, and then the No Free Stress program. These are about 11 programs government has launched. And our argument is that not one of them has had the program document that tells you, so what is the target, what is the selection criteria, what is the results framework, what are the key performance indicators, so that you can exercise oversight. Even if not just by us members of Parliament, you, the media, do you know the details? Do civil society members know the details? Does the general public know? How does even an ordinary person know and access? So it's important that the program documents are properly laid before Parliament so that the work of oversight can start. My intelligence suggests that it's even been discussed at Cabinet, and the President has instructed that the minister should bring the program documents to Parliament. So I think it's important. We don't need to run away from it.